here. I mean, people, whether in Assam, much has been said about the communal color to the entire politics. I mean, that comes with the choices that people are left with when they go out to vote. And the choices, they do not really have many choices. I mean, they're just left with one or two major players, and those two would also have their own, interests. So how can you really bring those reforms unless you have a very class and political players, let's say, at the state level?
Yeah, of course. But then there is one thing which he had mentioned. Go back to 2003 when the accord was signed. The demography of the BTAD is mix. You have the Santals, you have the Orans, you have the Mundas, you have the Koch Rajbangshis, you have quote-unquote immigrant Muslims, you have Nepalis, all kinds of people living in BTAD area. And if you look at the percentage, Boros are around 20%, Koch Rajbangshis are 70%. So why I am mentioning this, I will come to that. Koch Rajbangshis are also campaigning for, they are also indigenous tribes. They are also campaigning and demanding a separate homeland called Kamtapur, which overlaps BTAD. Now, reaction, you kind of immediately signed an accord with the Boro leaders in 2003. What will you do with the Koch Rajbangshis now? Because the historical, all the movements that represents different communities.
Yeah, the stakeholders.
Stakeholders, yes. Yeah. In 2003, why weren't the leaders of the movement for Kamtapur were not taken into confidence while discussing and delimiting territory? Now you have a very difficult situation because Koch Rajbangshi is, there is a armed organization which claims to represent all Koch Rajbangshis. Then you have, political movements. Now I cannot think, I mean, I can't imagine how the government will now handle that demand because it's the same territory, it overlaps. While in 1992, there was a committee called Bhupinder Singh Committee, which was formed specifically to kind of look into this issue of autonomy. They had come up with some interesting suggestions of pyramidical three-tiered autonomy, which is not necessarily linked to a contiguous territory, but everybody junked that report. We are not willing to actually discuss the political.
And the ruling part and the opposition is making most of it. And which is very dangerous. Both things are very dangerous. I think you can't go on, to take up on this issue on the one side, which might turn into actually a communal issue. And with your adversaries, actually really putting in, oil. How do you reconcile with this notion that you have Bangladeshis coming in? They may belong to one particular religion, as in the majority, but you can't say that it is a communal issue. You are willy-nilly turning that issue into a communal issue. The other hand, the government is simply not accepting the fact that there is actually migration from. I think we need to look at ourselves. It is not just because of the Facebook messages that this has happened. It is also because of the mobile phone messages. Why did we take so much time to ban bulk messages?
Which we have done now.
But the harm has been done already.
The harm has
occurred, and people have already started moving out of Bangalore and Hyderabad and Pune. That after the damage is done, that you act. I think the government needs, how in times of crises like this, it needs to act.
Was it a very late response from the government, Manojit?
Yeah, I think I agree with him. It was quite a late. The SMS, bulk SMS was banned day before yesterday,
That's
I
right.
guess.
Just 2 days ago. Yeah.
Just 2 days ago. By then,
came to an which happens to be Pakistan. It's so easy to say in many of the things that there's a foreign hand beside it.
Absolutely,
and you can easily say, okay, that's the terror haven. So of course it had to be Pakistan.
Absolutely. This morning I saw a cartoon, a very interesting.
The Northeast, many decisions are taken in the Home Ministry, and still other very important decisions are taken by the Prime Minister's office. I think there needs to be more focus, more people, more a more voluminous bureaucracy working on problems in the Northeast. We need more people.
Balojit, would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
And what else do you think should really help? Because here the entire problem is that of information. Most of us living here in the political, I would say, the capital of the country, won't really be aware of the problems that a person staying somewhere in Assam would be facing. So it's very important for us to have this information exchange, the integration that we talked about. But how do you think we can certainly go about it? Of course, it just can't be one ministry, it just can't be one or two ministries or the government at the center. But what kind of a movement do you think do we need now?
Country. This is the chance.
Yeah.
When the country is not united, when you are not able to, keep your own house in order, this will happen. When people are, reaching out for each other's throats, this is going to happen. So it's very natural. If at all, if Pakistan has done this, then obviously it would do it, because you're giving them the opportunity to do it.
Weak link, that is it.
Yes.
Anyone would like to cash on
Exactly.
your weakness,
So
the enemy's weakness.
you bind your own people first together, and I think you need to start at the lowest level. Go out to the state governments, whether you are actually, you're keeping your political units in the states intact or not. I think this is the point where inflection point where I would like to raise this issue. In Assam, the leadership, there has been of the ruling party to have strong messages, especially when these clashes took place. You have done that. You didn't show that, and this happened.
As he also said, let's start with the state government. On the state government front, how do you look at the way the Tarun Gargai government handled this entire issue? Beginning from the first thing happened, that was, if I'm not wrong, in the month of July 13th. So right from the first day, do you see that there was this leniency that the